Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Shayla Supreme here. We are back with another video. Yes, we are going to be talking about some more astrology today. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. If you haven't tuned into my previous videos, I talked about what astrology is, what a natal birth chart is, and then also I started talking about each house within astrology and also within your natal birth chart that are very important. Okay, and then also I just basically gave a brief summary about what these aspects are and how it relates to our life and why it's so important within navigating ourselves as far as our life purpose go, our self-discovery goes, and just basically the whole journey within itself of self within this reality. Yes. So without further ado, today we're going to be going into the third house. We're going to be talking about the third house today. Now, in my last videos, I talked about the first house, which is the house of self, right? This is basically the house of self in which you are birthed into this reality with the Aries energy, the passion, the fire, right? This is the spark of creation and where you came into this reality. And then we moved into the second house, right? Which is the Taurus energy, right? Of the material world. This is now we were born, we're birthed, right? Now we're moving into the material world, the material realm, and creating that level of security that we need for ourselves and really adapting to the material world as far as material things that we need in order to sustain ourselves and to thrive, not survive, but thrive within this reality. Yes. And now we are moving into today, the third house. Okay, the third house is all about communication, early childhood education itself. Also in regards to siblings, as far as aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, all of those other immediate siblings, or not siblings, but relatives, right? And then this house also represents, lastly, right, the short distance travel. This is a house of short distance travel because within communication, you know, that's an act of traveling from point A to point B. So that is what we are talking about today. Now, the third house of self represents communication. Like I said, it's the big house of communication, right? And along with communication, it is a house that is ruled by Gemini. That is its natural ruler, Gemini. Now, Gemini is all about communication. If you know a Gemini or someone with heavy Gemini placements, this person is someone who is able to communicate and navigate and basically get and receive what they need through communication. This person is very jovial, very charming, a person who is very light, airy, and bubbly, and has a personality, and they show it through their speech and how they display themselves. Yes. Now, moving forward, this is all about learning, right? Because in astrology, Gemini is seen as the child, right? You were birthed. You're in this reality in the physical, right? Getting used to the physical and acclimated to the physical. And now you are actually in a state of learning in the third house, learning how to communicate, learning how to navigate, learning how to network, and also how to have communication skills, because we need that as humans to be able to communicate with each other, to be able to be understood a little bit more. So yes, Gemini is the child within the zodiac. Also, Gemini is the learner within the zodiac. It's all about learning in order to, you know, grow and excel and get what you need. Now, along with Gemini being the natural ruler of the third house, right? Mercury is the planet that rules Gemini. Yes. So when I say that, Mercury is the planet of communication. So this is all about fast communication because Mercury's energy is very fast and very quick. So with Mercury naturally ruling this house, this is all about communication, internet, phones, emails, letters, all of that and etc. is forms of communication that we use as tools to be able to get each other. Okay, to be able to get each other, to be able to relate to one another. Yes. So moving forward, an example of the third house would be It's a little bit personalized right now. I use my own placement. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay. I have a third house in Scorpio. Okay. So when going into these placements, right, it's very important to break down the energy, break it down to a point where you're able to understand this aspect, understand this aspect, right, and bring them both together in order to, make a nice little sandwich that is easy to digest into our brains. Okay. So first and foremost, we already know that the third house is the house of communication and everything like that, right? Communication, early childhood, education, all in terms of really learning how to communicate with others, right? But it also ties into the scorpionic energy, since Scorpio is ruling this house, right? Not naturally, but just for my placement. Scorpio itself is a very discreet sign. It's a very mystic sign. It's a very what's beneath the surface, what's hidden sign. It's a very esoteric sign. Also, scorpionic energy is very, very deep, very watery, very emotional, also very psychic and intuitive, because water represents the feelings, but also the intuitive nature of a person. Scorpio energy is also all things about the occult, all things that may be taboo, things that may not be talked about often, So these are the themes of Scorpio in general. Also, it's a sign of money. Yes, if you know Scorpio, they about their money. Okay, they a water sign, but they about their money though. They really are. Because they're the opposite of Taurus, right? The material. So it really ties in. So going back into this, someone with the third house in Scorpio is someone who loves deep, meaningful conversations, right? This is a person who may be a little bit more shy or reserved, but once getting to know them, you'll see that they're a very deep person. They like to talk about very deep and profound situations or circumstances, or just topics in general. They love to know about things that are less spoken about or less thought about. They think about those things, and they like to display or talk about those things with people who they trust, because Scorpio is also a sign where they have to trust you in order to let you in order to navigate or further communicate with you on certain things, or to even get deep with you, really and truly. Yeah, because a Scorpio can talk to you and it can be very brief and light, but they are very deep people. Or the sign itself of Scorpio is very deep, because it's very deep water. Now, going further into it, this person may only choose to engage or interact with others when it's a very compelling topic to them, meaning that it's very interesting, it's very intriguing to them, whatever the topic is that is being talked about at the time. Also, this person may like to speak about things such as death, the afterlife, rebirth, just the theory of life itself. They like to talk about those things, especially in spirituality, yes. Also, this person may want to know on a very deep level the reason for existence. Why am I here? What is my purpose? They may have had these kinds of thoughts, or just thinking about it since they were young, like, wow, I'm here. What am I here for? Like, what is the whole meaning of this world? They want to know that on a very deeper level. Now, in pertaining to short distance travel, this person may have an innate fear of driving that they don't even realize until they get behind the wheel, or until they get into the car. And it doesn't have to be with someone who is crazy, reckless driving, right? This could just be a person who, anybody who they get into the car with, they just have a little bit of, they make sure they put their seatbelt on. They make sure that they do certain things, especially when it's short distance traveling. Now, tying into that as well, when it comes to short distance traveling, this person may travel to places in secret. Yes, they may travel to places in secret. They may be very calculated and very discreet when it comes to their moves. They don't like to let people know about their every move within their life or within their journey. They're very low key when it comes to that. And they're very private when it comes to their surroundings and different things of that nature too. Now, also, this house represents neighborhood, Okay, so in this person's neighborhood, very deep and profound experiences could have happened where they could have had, near life. I said near life. Woo, Lord. Near death experiences. This is very prevalent here. Also, this person could have just had very deep and private experiences or very closed off experiences when it came to their neighborhood. Or, there could have just been a lot of violence happening with the plutonic energy in the background influencing Scorpio. Yes. Yes. Now, I want to move into if a person has a planet, a personal planet that is impacting their third house, because I feel like that's important to touch on as well. If you have your moon that influences your third house, right? Automatically, we look at the energy of the moon and then we look at the energy of the third house, right? We already described the third house as being the house of communication, early learning styles, short distance travel, siblings, all of that nature, right? But we want to go forth and talk about it in a way that also encompasses that planet of the moon. Now, the moon itself represents emotions, the inner self, also how you were nurtured. Also, it has to do with your mother. The moon represents the mother within the zodiac, and how a person, the learning style of how that person was raised or nurtured by either dominant parent, but really the parent who nurtured them the most or had that motherly role within their life. So when going into it, the moon itself, it really gives that person in the third house, they need a sense of nurturing and attentiveness when learning, or even when they were at school or elementary school. They like to be that person where they were one-on-one with their teacher, right? Or that teacher was maybe a parental figure to them. It felt like this is their second mom, right? Because a lot of us experience that, especially in public school, where you're at school for 8 hours, right? So that's a job, baby. That's a job. You at school for 8 hours, and those people take on those parental roles, especially when you're away from home for those said amount of hours. So these people like to be close with their teachers and different things like that, especially when it comes to learning. They like to have their hand held when learning, especially when they were younger. Now, when it comes to the moon in the third house as well, this person, it was very greatly influenced by their mother when learning. So either they were at public school, right? Or they could have been a person who was homeschooled by their mother and learned a lot of valuable lessons, especially within early childhood from their mother. Another thing with this moon aspect is they are a person who's very deeply affected by words and feels the emotions by words. They're very empathic when it comes to words, and they could be very sensitive when it comes to words as well. So, other people can maybe brush off certain things that are said to them, especially when it comes to the way that things are said, right? But this person may hold on to it a little bit more because they feel the emotion behind the words. And also they can feel and sense, what's not being said behind words or lack thereof words. They can really feel the emotion and dispositions with words very deeply. Yes. And they have very keen sense of intuition when it comes to communicating with others and really feeling things. And they also may feel like they know what a person wants or needs. They may be very caring when they talk to people as well. When they communicate with others, they may feel a sense of, this is what that person needs to be said. This is what needs to be said to this person. That's what I mean. This is what needs to be said to this person in order for them to feel better. So they're very good at communicating and making others feel better, especially when they're down. So yes, everyone, this was a short summary of what a third house placement is, or what the third house is in general, and then also a placement of an actual zodiac sign, what that energy influences, and then also what a planet does when it influences the third house as well. Now, if you guys want to book a personal reading with me, go to blossomcentral.com. That is www.blossomcentral.com. Yes, definitely. We will cover the third house and the rest of the 11 houses as well. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in with me, supporting this channel, and helping it to grow. I appreciate every subscription, every like, every comment, and everything like that as well. Also, if you want to comment your own third house aspects or anything, if you know that, please comment down in the description. Well, not the description. Comment down in the comment box. Woo! Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Mercury retrograde is almost done, okay? Lord. But yes, definitely comment down below your own placement if you want to know more about your own placement, or if you want to go ahead and do it a little bit more privately. Go ahead to Blossom Central and book your natal birth chart reading with me, and we will go through every placement, every house, everything that you need to know about your own life direction, your purpose, and your journey here in this reality, okay? So all the information will be down in the description box below. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, everyone. Peace.